So let's just get started. So, real quick, let's just talk a little bit about like your first order and like what it was like. So, how many leads you bought, what the return was like, all the good stuff.
Yeah, so for the first order that I was able to get, I believe I bought it was for like 1.6K
Yeah,
for us because we have the agency
yeah,
discount, but we also it was a 75 for 75 leads,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So in terms of how it works, it was like the ad spent was basically what you're paying for is the ad spent. So I was able to receive more than 75 leads. I received like 95, I believe, close to that end or 92.
yeah, right.
Um, and from that first lead, yeah, that's how so it's a lot more that I was able to receive compared to, what I initially thought I was going to get. So that's a really plus. That's a really nice thing about it. It's more of like an ad spend, which state is, you're able to profit a lot better compared to, Illinois or something like that.
Right.
But,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so how many
and then
you bought 75 leads and then do you know like the exact return on that?
So the exact return, I believe, doing the calculations from it, after 6 dials in, first, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to profit from the first lead pack that I was able to get, and then continuously continue on and profit. I believe there were 6 families I was able to help out within that lead pack. Yeah, on top of that, I was able to still reconnect back and send more messages back to the same lead pack and still help another family. So even if I ran through all of them,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find, which family I was able to help, I was still able to do that a couple weeks later from the same
Awesome.
one. So, mhm.
Yeah, so do you think it was like I think it was above 8K for the range, like the return?
Yeah, it was about.
It was above
Mhm.
8K. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are. I don't know if you have them written down. All I know is that it was above 8K, so not a bad investment for 75 leads. And then let's just talk a little
Yeah.
bit about the lead quality. So when you come looking for leads in this market, it's kind of tough because like obviously people are selling leads for way more than what they should be. They're lying about the quality. They're
Yeah.
telling you they're exclusive, then they're reselling them to other people. You're getting chargebacks, all this bad stuff. So when you came looking for leads, let's just talk a little bit about like the concerns you had going into it, and then how that kind of played out. Like, how your concerns were resolved as you started dialing the leads.
Mhm. So one thing when it comes down to investing within whether it's your agency or like your agents, you always want to change that fear from having fear to invest into a higher intent lead because you have to understand that you're going to profit from it no matter what. So when I was able to obviously get in touch with Speedy Leads, I saw that um, even if there was a concern in terms of whether there be a return, like how it's going
Right.
to be, being able to test them out and see that people, when you contact them, they understand exactly what you're going into. That's another thing. So it's like you don't really have to try to convince people about,
Right.
this is why
Yeah.
you need insurance. That was a really good thing that I absolutely love about the Speedy Leads because when you're going from running, integrity leads and it's leads
Hmm.
that are probably ran through a lot more people, it's a lot harder to make it make sense to people as to why they need insurance. So having that, people who directly want insurance and then you be the first person to contact them about it, it's a lot better compared to you contacting them like the 10th time. Does that make
Definitely.
sense?
Yeah. And then like
Yeah.
for leads, I know some big concerns with people are like chargeback rates because leads get resold a lot. So ours were
Yeah.
exclusive. I'm sure. Did you get any chargebacks or were they all just they're good?
No, they were all good. Yeah. So
Awesome.
like I said, they literally drip into your own Excel sheet. So you're the first person to
Right.
contact them.
Yeah.
Obviously. within any type of lead vendor, if you're not, if you're not sending it well or
Mhm.
solidifying well, then a chargeback is going to happen no matter what. But
Right.
when you know how to speak to people about their insurance and everything's all set and good.
Definitely, yeah. And then let's talk a little bit about your business because I know you're working down in Florida and you're one of the top producers at your agency. So let's just talk a little bit about like how many people you have under you and then like what advice you can give to people out here trying to like really scale their revenue and start having, more recruits come to them and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so honestly, um, everything just kind of comes over time, like the results. When you're putting your head down and working, that's the main thing that I would ever advise for anybody to come into insurance. I mean, one, you're moving down,
Right.
whether it's moving down or you're doing it at home, you always want to put your head down and work because you don't want to be an average insurance broker. You want to do a lot more because you have the opportunity to be able to, one, scale your business and also profit from having multiple lead vendors and being able to go into higher intent leads, such as like with Speedy Leads. Um, but all it is really putting your head down and working. And honestly, being able to also talk to anybody who's you're bringing on into the business about your goals within that business and also how they are able to contribute to that, like what their purpose is within that business as well, within what they should be doing, how they're able to grow and scale, whether it's production wise or it's
Right. Yeah.
having their own agency. So kind of talking to them about like their goals, what their purpose is, and making sure that they're able to, follow just the blueprint that was already set. So that's a big thing.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, that's the
yeah.
biggest thing I've seen too is like sticking to a process that already works. That's like the best
Mhm.
way to fast track your success. And I actually learned a lot from, people that you work with too. So,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And then like I think you have 8 people under you. Is that right?
I do. I have nine people under me, 9 writers, me and my brother. We have people in courses, so people who are
Awesome.
already
Yeah.
have their scheduled for next week, and are ready to come down to Florida and start working. So that's another thing, you got to be able to talk about business to people who are really invested like yourself, and then you start
Right.
seeing the
Yeah.
same work ethic within them. So you start to see them like try to scale out, branch
Definitely,
out, or even
yeah.
invest
And I feel
even
like
higher.
most people who cold call, you can kind of tell who's gonna follow through with it when you first meet the person. Like
Hmm.
maybe after like a day of working with them, you can kind of figure out if they're gonna stick with it or if they're gonna quit.
Yeah.
Because I actually ran
Yeah.
like a cold call team for an agency, not
Oh,
insurance,
really?
but yeah. And I mean, recruiting is hard, so people don't
Hmm.
always follow through with their promises. So just sticking to it and finding people, that's definitely a journey. Circling back to
Yeah.
the leads a little bit, I wanted to ask you, like, what was the pickup rate like? And then, obviously when they picked up, what were some of the things people were asking maybe? What was that like?
So the pickup rate was honestly pretty good. Even testing them out, it was pretty good. So every time that anybody would pick up the phone, obviously there's people who are working still. It's
Hmm.
live leads, so people who are
Right.
filling it out and coming straight to you once they fill it out. So the pickup on those was pretty good. And anybody who honestly was on the phone wanted insurance. So anybody that you were able to answer the phone and let them know like, hey, I'm speaking to you about your life insurance, I'm the one that's supposed to be going over this with you. Every one of those people were able to get insurance. They were
Awesome.
able to
Yeah.
qualify for coverage. It was
That's
really good.
definitely what I want to hear. And then another
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask you was like, these people, did they understand clearly that they were going into this for life insurance, or were these leads tricked into thinking it was something else? Because what a lot of lead vendors are doing nowadays is they're tricking people, and we like to stay transparent with our stuff. So I just kind of wanted to clear up that conception with Speedy Leads is that, we're transparent with our ad writing and everything on there. So what did the leads say when they picked up?
No, so every time that I would ever, it, honestly, it was extremely simple compared to what I initially had to, cold call somebody.
Hmm.
So me letting them know, like, I'm the representative that's supposed to be reaching out regarding your life insurance. Simply just, I'll have you write down my information first before we proceed. They all knew and consented to continuing on with the phone call.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
understanding that, yeah, because we work with all the life insurance companies such as like Amerigo, First
Yeah.
of Omaha, like a lot of big companies, and they understood that and they liked that a lot as well.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, when people hear big names like I think it's Aetna and CVS Health, they immediately know like those are the two big ones near me. I'm in Chicago, so we actually have an Aetna.
Yeah,
Is that how you say it?
Edna, yeah.
Aetna, yeah. It's like right down the road for me, so we have a bunch of those big companies over here. Um,
They know
yeah,
that, yeah, they know that company a lot because it's like a big health company as well.
definitely, yeah. And when people hear that, it makes them happy. At least you're partnered with someone they know. So. Um, last couple of things here. How many hours per week did you spend on the leads, and was it even hours or was it minutes? Like, I don't know. Um,
So, like I said, um, we do start off on like different lead vendor.
Mhm.
It's still a pretty so like I would always have 150 leads, right?
Right.
Um, it was still a pretty good investment in terms of what you're,
Hmm.
investing in, and the return was good for what I initially thought a return should be, right? For what I
Right.
knew so
Yeah.
far. But once we got into Speedy Leads, it literally took minutes within making sure that somebody could pick up the phone
Right.
and want
Yeah.
insurance. The return, even if you're investing like a thousand, the return's a lot greater. And in terms of how much work you're putting in, you're still
Mhm.
putting in the work, but you don't have to put in a lot of hours. But it also gives you a
Right.
lot more
Yeah.
time to
I feel like
try to like uh,
Yeah, I feel like for the higher quality leads, what a lot of like top producing agents that already have good income are trying to do is free up their time at this point because they already have like a working
yeah,
process, so they're just trying to recruit and they don't really want to spend like tens of hours dialing cold leads. So the biggest thing with us is like
yeah,
we want to retain that high lead quality so they don't have to spend 10 hours per week on calling leads or whatever it may be. I don't know. But yeah, so that's like the biggest thing with us is just retaining the lead quality. So definitely good that we were able to do that for you. And then last thing, do you have any words of wisdom for people getting started in life insurance? Just kind of like to help them navigate leads in general or just processes that you've done that have worked?
yeah. I mean, any words of wisdom for anybody coming into insurance that is like really new. Honestly, it's gonna take research and a lot of work ethic because it depends.
Hmm.
You're as you're going into those higher intent leads, you still want to be able to be knowledgeable and be able to understand just the process and the product and just the blueprint. So always follow the blueprint, follow those people who are doing it in insurance, reach out to your mentors, and then never be afraid to ask a lot of questions.
Thank you, Monserrat
And
Argus. This was awesome.
you're welcome.